So ComboBreaker is going to have 23 tournaments this year with games ranging from current to older titles like Third Strike and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Tournament fighters. What about this tournament encourages such a diverse selection of games and players to come out?
So I think that's like, so while it's really great that ComboBreaker's getting featured for this, this is kind of like a big thing in a lot of the fighting game community events. It's true for CEO, it's true for EVO even. Sure, you have your main games, but side tournaments have always been a big thing about the FGC because just because like your game's not being supported anymore, like a Third Strike or MK9, right? Doesn't mean that everybody stops playing those games. And so it's really cool to see events, especially like ComboBreaker and CEO, that are really into promoting these like scenes that people still love and still like to play at a high level.
Right. Speaking of games in the tournament, right, there's also the mystery tournament and auction events that ComboBreaker is known for. So could you give us some context on these for those who may not know, and what makes them really highlights of ComboBreaker?
All right, so we'll start with auction tournament. So picture your standard auction where what's going to happen is, let's say you want to play Ryu in Street Fighter V. You're going to start betting at $1, and then once you hit the $20 mark, that's when you're going to start betting at integers of $5. And basically, you're trying to get the character you want to play. And then you're put in a single elim bracket where the winner of the tournament gets all the money that was used in the auction. What's really cool is that there's going to be an auction tournament for Samurai Showdown when the game's not even fully out yet. So that's going to be super interesting to see people like try to just get a character that might be more well-known and then see the people who kind of bet on getting maybe a newer character. So that would be super interesting. And then mystery tournaments is basically what it sounds like. You have no idea what game you're going to play. You have no idea what controller you're going to use. You can't use your own stick. And there's some interesting games that show up in mystery tournament, like the Sailor Moon fighting game, the Ranma 1/2 fighting game, a lot of these really old like anime fighters. And when I say anime fighters, I'm not talking like Guilty Gear. I'm talking about like straight up anime. And there's some really wacky games. So it's pretty interesting always to watch the mystery tournament because sometimes it's just about mashing buttons and who mashes buttons harder.
I know sometimes I definitely mash buttons against you because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing around this game on PlayStation because I don't play on PlayStation. I usually play on the arcade with the the stick and the button. So when I play it on PlayStation, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. All right, so let's talk UNIST, right? It's looking like this will be the largest tournament to date for the game with 425 entrants. What does it say about the game scene, and is it time to start putting some respect on this specific community?
I think that if you're a fighting game person, you've known that the UNIST community is sort of a big deal for a long time now. It's one of the most dedicated, under-supported games, which basically means that like instead of like, titles like Street Fighter and MK, which are always main stage games, always having their finals on Sundays, UNIST has been one of those like sort of side tournament games. And now, sort of spurred on by EVO making it a main stage game, a lot of these other tournaments are saying, you know what, if EVO's taking a chance, let's take a chance. Let's see how many people are going to come out. And the UNIST community is taking this opportunity and running with it. They're entering in droves. They're so excited to be a main game. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, we start seeing UNIST as a main stage game at something like CEO. I mean, it is at EVO. Let's see how many more events it can really become that headliner event because it's got a big community and they're pretty welcoming about bringing people in. They make a lot of online guides and stuff to get you into characters. Like, it's a pretty sweet game.
It's a pretty sweet game. Yeah, I first started hearing about UNIST from our very own Brandon, and he was putting me onto it, and I was like, I could get behind this for sure. I'm glad, though, that the community is being validated in a major way here. But let's talk about Mortal Kombat 11, right? They're starting their competitive season at ComboBreaker. So it's the game with the most attendees. So by ComboBreaker rules, it gets the final spot on Sunday. How big is this event going to be for the NRS scene? That's NetherRealm Studios. And are we already handing Sonic Fox the trophy here, or does he have actual competition?
So, I mean, you guys heard me before with Dragon Ball FighterZ that, like, it's kind of hard to bet against Sonic Fox. And, I say this about a lot of the other champions. I say this about Takedo, too. I think that with especially earlier in a title's history, Sonic Fox is very hard to beat because he has, like, a very great understanding of fighting games and a lot of the basics. And so he's able to pick up on a lot of the cheap stuff early. With that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, someone like Forever King or Dragon or you know, you guys have had Gur on before, someone like Honeybee, Tweety, or Rewind, any of those guys could take them. You know, so anybody who I didn't say who was at the Summit of Power, not Summit of Power, Summit of Time, you know, the MK Summit. And that's just because, like, we're so early in the game still that I think it's anyone's game still. And we've seen that for Sonic Fox, that, you know, the more familiar other people get with the game, the harder the matchups get for him, because you know, everyone else is starting to catch up. I don't think Sonic Fox is I'm not saying he's not the greatest, but you can definitely catch up to his level the longer you have time to spend with the game. Now, as for the NRS community, I think it's really dope to see a lot of people be very excited for this game and for this to be the main stage game at ComboBreaker, especially since there's going to be the ComboBreaker stage in MK, so that's going to be super hype. So I think it's going to be a really good thing to help help MK11 continue in its first year of its tour. I think having such high numbers is really great.
Yes, growth and progress is always good for the community and for the gaming industry overall. Thank you so much for the update on ComboBreaker, Amanda. You guys can check out more from Amanda on her interview series, The Neutral, at youtube.com/Sagenosis, SAGEGNOSIS.
Yes, you can.
Thanks,
so
guys.
much.
See you guys later.
See ya.